My friends at Waves sent me over a plugin to take a look at. It's not necessarily a new plugin. It's kind of a new version. This is their StudioVerse plugin. This used to be the Studio Rack plugin. I don't know if this is a new name. It might be a new name, StudioVerse, or they might have named it that a little while back. I use this actually fairly often. It's in my template for some stuff, but I don't even think about it. It's just there, and I open it and I turn the knobs and it does what I want. Big thing on here that I know is new is the interface is different, because I can tell because I'm used to that. And I think they've changed the preset browser if you like finding other effects. The thing to me, though, that I kind of like with this, and I don't know if this is a new feature or if it's just new to me, but you can actually put plugins into this that aren't Waves plugins now. You can just put VST plugins in there. So what I have here, this is one of my Tom presets that I use. I use this every music mix I do, and you'll hear why in a minute. So what I've done with this is I've inserted the Black Salt Audio Silencer plugin into this preset, because this is my favorite. Well, I don't know if it's my favorite. Definitely one of my top 2 favorite gates for drums right now, between the Black Salt one and the Sonics one. Like, one or the other is going to be the one. And I'm just going to put silencer in here, and I saved the preset again. And, here, let's just solo this tom, and I'm going to turn off all of the processing. So the tom doesn't sound awesome, and there's a lot of cymbal bleed in there. So turn it on. Here's what it sounds like with the StudioVerse plugin. I mean, come on. Like, that's... you get why I use this every time. And I built this a long time ago. And, if you think I should release this, let me know. Because, I called it magic for a reason. I love this thing. But let's go look at something else. How about a snare drum? So I've got this on a snare drum here, and I personally am not a big preset guy. And if you're like me and you're not a big preset guy, presets aren't always the worst thing in the world. You can actually learn a lot from presets. So for example, here, let's try this. So there's a CLA snare one, and I'm a big Chris Lord-Alge fan, so let's get that loaded up. First of all, here's the snare drum without anything on it. I'll turn off the effects. So, sounds like a snare drum. If I turn on Chris's preset, this is it just right out of the gate. Not necessarily what I'm going for, but that doesn't mean we can't use this. Now, something I want to show you here, if you're not big into presets like me, but you're going, man, I really like Chris's mixes, because I really do. He's been a huge inspiration for me over the years. But something we can do is let's open all of these plugins up. All right, so we've got CLA Mix Hub. We've got this Pultec here. There is, let's see, another compressor here. This is SSL compressor. Let's open this guy up too. And we're running out of room. Running out of room on our screen, but that's okay. Something we can do with this is he's got all of these controls here. They're all assigned to knobs here with words he likes to use, like girth, shine, point. But what exactly do those mean? If I adjust the shine knob here, I'm going to do it with my control surface. I can see over here, it is adjusting these top 2 bands, and it's adjusting the top band a lot more than the kind of upper mid band here. So shine for him, definitely going to be more of this kind of 8K thing with that. Well, what's the difference between that and point? If I turn point, now down here on this version of the Pultec, it's turning those up. If I go to the crack one, what does that do? Well, that's this right here on this other Pultec. Spank is going to be this compressor, which changes a whole bunch of parameters on here. This is actually one of the cool things about the StudioVerse plugin and, the Studio Rack predecessor is you can assign multiple controls to this and have them adjust with one knob. Oh, there's a room control, so that must be what's in here. So there's a reverb in there. That room control is probably that. And then the gate, what does the gate do? The gate is controlling the threshold over here. So it's just a threshold control. Now, something we could do with this is let's just turn all of these down, close all these. So I have these controls, they all map on my control surface. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to play the snare drum and I'm going to kind of dial in these knobs to where maybe I can find something that I like. What does that sound like with all of the drums? It's all right. It's still not quite what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go back. Where's one of the ones? I built something to do this a long time ago. Where's mine? Snare Magic. I'm going to try this one. And one of the things I'm going to change in here right off the bat, instead of this multi-band split, which that was a gate, and I think I was just gating above like 900 hertz. So that was just trying to get some of that cymbal spill out of there. Instead of doing that, though, I am going to load my silencer plugin, and we'll start with that all the way down so that we'll start with it off. And I'm going to just kind of turn some of these knobs and see what happens. All right, so without anything, that might be too much meat. Now it is louder, but even with that volume bump, this is better to me. I can just tell that the tonality of this is way better to my ears. Let's put it in with the whole drum kit for a minute. Let's see what happens. Big difference. Big difference. I turn on my effects again, that'll help too. Put it into the context of the mix. See what this does. I don't know why I don't use this more often on snare drum. I really like the way that kind of came out. And the thing I like about this plugin is it kind of takes away some of the thinking of things once you've either got your own setup in there or you've loaded a preset from somebody else. You can just turn the numbers, and like this one works probably best for me because I built the preset. You know, the only thing I changed from the way I was doing it before was I put that silencer in for gating the top of the snare, and I can still get the ghost notes out with the bottom mic, which is kind of cool. One thing I do kind of want to use a sample for here is I have this room sample that I'm adding in, and here I'll just play a little bit of the snare with and without it. I really like that snare drum. I think I might use this a little more because it was too easy to do. So anyways, now the one thing I wish this could do right now, and I just haven't figured out how to do it, but I don't think there's a way, is I can't assign these controls, or at least I can't figure out how to assign these controls to the controls in a VST plugin. I wish there was a way that I could open up Silencer and just take this threshold and stick it on a knob, and, you know, maybe some of these other controls too, the length and the de-bleed. You know, if I could put those on those three controls, this would be near perfect for me. But even without it, I mean, it's not a big deal. I can open it up and adjust that kind of stuff. The other thing in here that I wish it still had was, I wish there was a way to kind of hide this stuff. On the older version of Studio Rack, you could have it so that all you saw were these knobs, and I kind of like that so that I'm not like seeing what's in the chain, because then I'm really just thinking about this completely from a creative and artistic standpoint and just turning knobs and making it sound good. But those are pretty minor kind of things with this, and who knows, maybe they'll put that in the future. If you don't want the StudioVerse thing showing up all the time, you can go up here in the, what do they call that? Like the hamburger menu, and you can have it set so that the open StudioVerse sidebar by default, you can uncheck that, which I have because I'm personally not gonna dig into that stuff very often, but every once in a while, I'm sure I'll go through there and pull up some stuff from engineers I admire, like CLA, Andrew Sheps, Manny American. There's some presets from him in there and some other stuff, because sometimes you can get ideas for things that do cool stuff. That's the Waves StudioVerse plugin. Go check it out. Pretty sure it's free. If you've got a subscription, you definitely can grab it, but go check it out. Take a look at it. Let me know, do you play around with StudioVerse? Do you have any presets up in saved in there that I can download and check out? I'd love to take a look at them. So leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.